Greetings, my good bitches. The name's Francis, QueenCokeFrancis. I'm an editor, Twitch streamer, drag artist, and I'm here because I was born at a very young age. Even long before our current authoritarian theocracy, I and my entire community are constantly told the exact same thing over and over again. I don't care if you're gay, just stop rubbing it in our faces. Firstly, no. Secondly, no, but extra spicy this time. We've been hearing it since gay people first existed openly in public. Literally just minding our own goddamn business. But that was just too much for some of y'all. According to you, even just witnessing gay people in the wild was akin to violently shoving something down your throats. Buddy, you wish we would. The whole stop shoving gayness down our throats discourse was one of the core ideas behind Hetero Awesome Fest, and one of the deepest desires of its organizer. And we all know how that little shindig played out. Let me check actually. All 221,164 of you. God damn. Thanks, guys. I was actually really proud of how that video turned out, so I really appreciate it. Either way, I've talked about this sentiment plenty of times on this channel, both from straight people to the I'm not like other gays pick-me's out there. There weren't all these queer kids when I was a kid. Why is everybody gay nowadays? Well, Jimbo, Billy Bob, Bimothy, Beck, Bevo, I actually have a few answers to that question. First and foremost, a good portion of gay people from your generation are dead. Not recently either. They never had the opportunity to give themselves early onset heart disease like you did, because they couldn't live a life as long as yours. Because your first beloved dementia-addled movie star president allowed millions of them to die, all while our homophobic society and government sat back and laughed at them. Secondly, the ones who did survive wanted to create a more accepting society for future generations, and up until pretty recently, that had actually been going pretty well. And last, but certainly not least, I challenge you to look at shirts like this, and look me in the eye and tell me you aren't gay forever. You're a teacher hanging an all are welcome sign in my child's classroom? What are you, a groomer? A pervert? Now excuse me as I force my newborn into this onesie with a little sperm on it. Did you just say gay day at Disneyland? How am I supposed to explain your homosexual degenerate lifestyle to my children? We raised them in a household with strong moral principles, like hating your wife or threatening boys that talk to your daughters. Boy, oh boy, there must be some really sad parents out there. What does it say about you when your gay son adopts a kid, when you could be finding out about your future grandchildren like this? In the beer of our Lord 2025, now is the time to be out and proud about your heterosexuality. And what better way to express it than with cool shirts for you and your children? They are legal after all, for some reason. It truly boggles the mind as to why these people would want to expose this kind of information to the entire world. Like, what's next, guys? Your phone numbers? Your emails? Birthdays? Hell, throw in your social security and credit card numbers while you're at it. Please, do let me know if broadcasting your heterosexuality is worth all the spam calls and potential identity theft. Because $50 for a set of these bad boys is totally worth the billions you'll generate for data brokers. And sure, you can try and stop it, but getting them to remove your info is almost as difficult as having to explain this to your parents and siblings. And at that point, your best option is to use the sponsor of today's video, Aura. You might already have a digital security tool, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving the back door open. Because Aura is all-in-one digital security that not only automatically removes your info from these data broker sites, but keeps it off. You'll be notified if your personal info is found on the dark web. And get real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking from US-based fraud experts available to help 24/7. Aura also has a ton of other features to keep you safe online, including a secure VPN, an antivirus, a password manager, and many more. And should the worst-case scenario happen, Aura includes up to $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. It's one app with every layer of protection. I won't leave myself vulnerable anymore, and neither should you. You can use my special link aura.com/QueenCokeFrancis for a free 14-day trial, which is enough time for Aura to figure out where your data is being exposed and sold. And with that, back to our regularly scheduled programming. So this isn't a ranking video, but I've divided these horror shows into 5 categories. First category is what I've dubbed solo shots, because if these people get to be the actual deviants that they constantly complain about, then God damn it, so do I. Been training my whole life to be the bisexual degenerate that your parents warned you about just for these people to take it away from me. These shirts aren't dependent on another joke on a different shirt. They work just fine as is. Or maybe you're on the hunt for someone to wear cringy shirts with, like this alpha here. Now, it's easy to laugh at a shirt that literally says, unvaccinated sperm available here, cash only, and I will laugh at it, but at the same time, this picture goes kinda hard, does it not? No jacket or accessories aside from that week-old sticker up there or whatever that is. Leaning on a subway pole, casual hand at the pocket, staring directly at the camera with a knowing look. This is a pose that exudes confidence. Is that all your unvaccinated sperm cash in your pocket there, or are you just really excited to wear this shirt in public? I can't really blame you, my good sir. You guys might find this very surprising about me, but I am a big fan of the plain white t-shirt on other people. A good-looking slash fitting white t-shirt is underrated in this dogshit society. And maybe once unvaccinated sperm boy finds that special someone, he can finally transition to a different white t-shirt. Okay, that's not what I meant. I have a beautiful daughter. I also have an axe, a shovel, and an alibi. So if the bottom part had nothing to do with the top part, and he was just stating singular facts about himself, I might be into it. You're a dad and a criminal? Let's f***ing go, dude. Unfortunately, the shovel he's pictured with is for daughter controlling only. Should we tell him that no one in history has ever been intimidated by a bald man in cargo pants? Maybe violence isn't your thing when it comes to telling your daughter who she should be in love with. Maybe you want something more wholesome, like this. Dad, a son's first hero, a daughter's first love. I can't tell what's worse, buying this for yourself or somebody else buying it for you. I'm sorry, but are daughters being in love with their dads actually like a thing outside of, you know, certain contexts? I wouldn't know. I actually grew up in a very normal household. Before we address what's actually on the shirt here, can we talk about these arms? Am I gonna get demonetized for showing these veins in these arms? Either way, they pair pretty well with yoked Snoopy saying, "My wife is a sex object. Every time I ask for sex, she objects." Don't you think she'd prefer a shirt that shows you how much you love her, like this one? I am an asshole man. I love freedom, drink beer, and I love my wife. Aww. I protect my family. I eat meat, and I have tattoos. If you don't like it, move. Can I be super real with you guys? The more I read this, the more wholesome it becomes. This is a man who loves his family above all else, even if it makes him look like a total asshole to others. I also drink beer. I also love freedom. I don't eat meat, but I love tattoos. And clearly, he loves his wife. I think this guy might be cooler than we give him credit for. Unless his wife owns a pair of these bad boys. Sorry, this booty is taken by a crazy husband. Don't touch. He'll murder you. Honestly, sis, I think you found a keeper. You are a dark romance novel come to life. I love that for you. But I absolutely love the idea of somebody sneaking up behind this woman like Jaws style, hands at the ready, getting into the optimal squeezing position, then reading this on the area you were planning on touching, and being like, ah, damn, she'll definitely find out about this. And she'll probably tell her husband. Better lay off. Also, in the amount of time it takes to read that whole thing, you've already been staring at her butt for way too long. Nobody wins in this scenario. Now let's say you finally found that special someone, and it's time to show the world how straight your straight relationship is between a he-him male and a she-her female. I call this category definitely no holes in your drywall. We of course have the women be shot shopping said, this Andrew Schultz fan is the money maker in this relationship, and his girlfriend is the money spender. But don't worry, you guys, it's not as sexist as you think. She is wearing a playful pair of overalls with one strap, which is the real statement piece here. And that statement is, my dream is to girl boss my way to being a CEO while also running a dog rescue and funding schools for girls in impoverished nations. But lately, I am thriving in PR. If that set is too chauvinistic for you and your babe, consider other options like I am babe. If lost, return to babe. As cringy as it is, this one is honestly pretty harmless, but I also consider the double standard of what this would look like if the shirts were reversed. Same with this one, the boss and the real boss. What would it have looked like if the money maker slash spender shirts were reversed? Would I have still made that overalls joke? Actually, yes I would, because I wrote it, and I thought it was funny. Anyway, things might be all hunky-dory as a couple of millennial hipsters who will probably burn these pictures in a few years, but just give yourself a few decades, and you can finally graduate to the inevitable boomer hate my spouse shirts. Like these ones right here. Drink till you want me. I can't drink that much. What sucks so hard about this one is that it's actually kind of clever. Like, if I saw this in the wild, I would definitely laugh at first, and then it would make me immediately sad after. If my current relationship ever comes to this, I kindly ask that you put both of us out of our misery so that we can finally just go to yaoi heaven. Together, of course. I like her bobbers. I like his pull. The cool thing about being a very attractive non-binary drag queen on the internet is that I receive comments and messages from men requesting to see both. They're usually followed up with a rose emoji. And we of course can't forget about those holiday collections. Can't figure out what to wear to a Christmas party that your parents, family, friends, and maybe children will be present at? For the ladies, you can be his milk drinker. And for the gentleman, you can be her cookie eater. Being gay in public is still punishable by death in dozens of countries, but it's totally legal to announce that he and she all while they ask their parents to pass the potatoes. But hey, let's say you do meet that special someone to share your cringy shirts with, and you decide to take advantage of your freedoms as determined by the Supreme Court, who is, once again, debating whether or not gay people are human. Imagine your villain origin story being a 5-day jail sentence, all because you threw a hissy fit over two people getting married who are almost definitely hotter than you. I guess I can see Kim Davis's point of view here. She already ruined her own 4 marriages. Keep ruining others, I say. Look at you, standing on the steps of the Capitol. Will anybody else address her capital forehead or her lowercase brows, telling us that we're tearing the moral fabric of society and dressing like you broke James Caan's legs with a sledgehammer? Sorry, I could do this all day. Sorry, what was I talking about? Oh, right. Okay. This next category I call protecting the sanctity of marriage. What better way to celebrate one of the best days of your life than by being slick and wearing this under your tux? The positive, and therefore idiotic, side of me wants to read this as, you played the dating game and you won at the end and now the game is over. But like that guy in my conservative dating app video who said he wanted to change the age of consent, something tells me he didn't want to make it higher, and something tells me that this shirt is not meant to be kind to your new life partner. Also, if you're planning on debuting this shirt at the wedding, when would you even do it? After you say I do and then rip your jacket off like a Yakuza boss? Do you show it to your Sigma Alpha Delta bros in secret during the reception? And forgive me for asking the obvious, but why get married if you don't want to? Why tie yourselves down if you don't want to? Why look for a long-term partner? Just be a do whatever you want. Everyone, including you and all women, will be so much happier. And you might not feel compelled to wear shirts like this. And your first instinct when a woman approaches you won't be to push her off a ledge. I hear people ask all the time why men are gay, when the real question is, why are women straight? Do men even like women? Wait, no, what am I saying? Obviously not. This is a stupid question. Almost as stupid as this shirt. The awful truth. And her heart is in her heart, but his heart is in his dick. It's the truth, guys. That's always how it goes. This next one is just one big question mark. I have the dick, so I make the rules. So the first thing I noticed here, because again, I'm a bisexual degenerate, is that the artist made a point of making her boobs big enough for the strap gap thing to happen over here. Listen, I live in LA. I see this a lot. It is usually an implant-specific phenomenon. Not that there's anything wrong with any of that, of course. I just think it's really funny that whoever designed this shirt actually bothered to include that detail. Also, how would this rule apply to gay male couples, or any relationship where both parties have the dick? How then, shirt? I mean, the artist's head would probably explode at the mere idea of any relationship outside of male man husband and female woman wife, like these jabronis right here. There's a lot I want to say right now, but some of you guys get mad when I make fun of people's looks, which is kind of wild to me as a drag queen, but at the end of the day, I want you to be able to laugh at my jokes, not be hurt by them. And I think these two speak for themselves. They both have the same smile, the same teeth, the same chin, the same, uh-oh. So this next one isn't a shirt, but it's so unhinged that I simply had to include it. There is a lot to unpack here. I'm trying to figure out where to start. Was this created before or after the internet appropriated the term daddy from the queer community? Either way, as someone who's been playing the Dream Daddy dating simulator for the past week, my mind immediately reverts to the center mode that made me bang Robert on the first date. Oh my god! Let's see. The chores and their subsequent rewards. I hate washing dishes so much. It is my least favorite chore because the cringeries that I've sustained from previous videos have given me permanent scoliosis. Actually, I'm kidding. I was born with scoliosis. So. But the Daily Wire did not help. Personally, I'd switch the 12-pack of beer reward with not having to go to some annoying kid's birthday party. Now that's a goddamn reward. Putting the toilet seat down means no nagging for a week. First of all, and I don't know how many people I'm gonna piss off by saying this, but I don't know why some women get so weird about toilet seats being left up. I'm convinced that's what TERFs are actually afraid of when sharing the bathroom with trans women. Good God! Get a goddamn grip, girl. Secondly, no nagging for a week. Really. None. At all. For a full 7 days, 126 hours, you will not ask him for any help at all with anything, because that's really all nagging is. It's just being asked to do something more than once because you didn't do it the first time, so she's obviously the one with the problem, right? Changing a blowout diaper. I don't want or have kids, so I don't even want to know what that is. And the reward is a naked hula dance from yours truly. Again, I don't have kids, so it's not as easy for me to empathize, but if I ever reached a point in my life where I was cleaning what I assumed to be explosive diarrhea off of my child and thought to myself, at least my wife will give me a naked hula dance once I do this exactly 5 more times, I would so effortlessly, joyously Persona 3 myself. If you bathe the kids, plural, I guess they have many, she won't donate your favorite pit-stained t-shirt. Is it a plain white one, by chance? Does it come in a 2XL? Asking for research purposes. For science. I think the reward for packing the kids' lunches is way too good for the chore. A whole get out of the house for a day card? That seems super helpful. Oh, no, wait. It says get out of the doghouse for free. As in, you did or said something that was genuinely so hurtful to your partner that she will not even speak with you. But since you've packed the kids' lunches 6 times, she has to pretend to not be mad at you for an entire day. That's definitely not toxic at all. But it looks like our domestic god finally reached the finish line after cleaning up vomit 6 times, which means he gets a BJ.
Cool.
And what better way to track your progress towards getting a BJ than with Disney princess stickers?
Cool.
And weird. And gross. Moving on. So let's say you finally tie the knot, and you're ready to settle down with that person that you very well already may hate. And you decide to bring new life into this world for some reason. Props to you, mama. Maybe it was planned, maybe it wasn't. Either way, you want to let everybody know in the classiest way possible. Oh, by the way, this category is called Imagine If Gay Couples Did This. Let's get this banger out of the way before we move into the baby announcements, because I think this one epitomizes this category like nothing else. I'm the reason his dick smells like chapstick. My dick smells like chapstick. Listen, guys, I'm perfectly fine with you living your heterosexual lifestyle, but do you have to parade it in front of everyone, especially when there are children present, considering you're sitting on bleachers? I honestly thought this was Bert and Leanne Kreischer from behind the first time I saw this picture. So with that out of the way, let's move into the breeding section, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, but I have the best job in the world, so here we are. Just me, you, and my cheeky little hat. God, I love my cheeky little hat. I'm so stuffed with a little turkey. I made the stuffing. My favorite thing about this is that if I actually explained what this meant, I would immediately get demonetized. I assume they took inspiration from this absolutely unhinged PETA ad. If only, PETA, if only. Maybe your Thanksgiving baby is doing what I did as a fetus and hit the snooze button for another month. And now you're gonna have a Christmas baby. How on God's green battlefield earth are you going to announce it now? Thankfully, the straights are still coming in clutch with some holiday attire for the occasion. You can graduate from the milk and cookie sweaters and slip into something... Is this worse? I don't know. There's a lot you're announcing with these shirts here. Namely that this was an accident, and I guess you're making the best out of a weird situation and coping with humor. I can totally understand that. At least you're not dragging your pre-existing children into the mix like these folks right here. This is my last one. Serially. So explaining homosexuality to your children is allegedly impossible, but you're still able to explain to them that their incoming sibling, 1, was an accident, 2, is making your father miserable, and 3, we're going to a park or whatever so a photographer can take pictures of us talking about it. Wait, hold up.
Hold up!
Is their dad Ari Shafir? Maybe these methods of pregnancy announcements were too classy and demure for your tastes. You are aching to graphically tell the world that you're having a baby, which we all already know the means of how one gets pregnant by divine fertilization from God, obviously. Listen, I appreciate you guys not buying into the whole stork delivery service nonsense, but there's gotta be a halfway point between that and this. Don't you agree? If you guys don't want us to call you breeders, maybe stop making breeding your entire personality? Looks like their tractor already ran over their baby onesie that says, I'm proof daddy somethings all the time. I don't need to find out what it actually says in the middle. I'm sure it has something to do with daddy delivering his load. I am going to become the Joker. And hey, do this enough times and before you know it, you'll have a whole litter to put in shirts that remind them of how they used to be sperm. Books with gay characters are proudly burned in the streets of my country, but by all means, round up the kids and make a sperm cake with them together. Sperm Cake actually goes kind of hard as a band name. I'm not sure why this dad is so obsessed with sperm, but I guess he needs some kind of heterosexual affirmation. He can never have the career of a professional swimmer, but maybe he can have the criminal record of one instead. So, you did it. You found each other, you forced yourself into a marriage, you made a god-awful announcement to your family, friends, and the internet that you've decided to reproduce. Maybe you had a whole party to announce the shape of your child's genitals, because I know you guys seem to really enjoy doing that, and you might have burned down an entire forest in the process. And now, against not nearly enough odds, you finally popped out a kiddo. Congrats, divas. Which brings us to our final category. And they say say we're after your kids. We will stop flaunting our homosexuality around your children once you stop buying your babies clothes like this. With a body like this, who needs hair? Eligible bachelor. Lock your daughters up. Jesus Christ, dude, that is ominous. You're reading a book to my child? Sick pervert. You should be telling her if her butt looks too big in her diaper. Jesus. Yellow penguins, how are you not on a list? But maybe you want something a little tamer. Probably a good call on your end as a responsible, hetero, awesome parent. So why announce to the world that your baby is on the prowl when you could just self-ship with them instead? Just a boy in love with his mama. So these are the fabled boy moms I've been hearing so much about on this website. Or alternatively, because there are only two genders and suggesting otherwise makes you a I found my prince. His name is Daddy. Guys, I am begging you to decide on a singular definition of daddy. Either use it strictly in a father context or strictly in a sexy context. You can't have both, okay? You can have one or the other. Also, do the parents who buy these keep them and like lock them up? Or do they stay in the kids' dressers or whatever? Because imagine going through all your old clothes because you're a little bit older and you're able to read at this point and stumbling upon your little baby onesie that says, all daddy wanted was a blowjob, but here I am.
I'll destroy everything and everyone.
And then you probably have to ask your parents what that is. And then they'll have to find some way to explain that to you, which they will have to do since you were the one who was forced to wear it as a baby. Bitch, I don't even have a joke for this. Okay, this is cursed. Straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just go to jail and do the old Epstein shuffle. I don't care. We definitely need to hook up that other white shirt guy with this one because there's a lot that Thing 1 can learn from Thing 2 over here. Firstly, cut out the middleman and put the shirt directly on your daughter. Immediately clears up any questions anyone might have. Second, put a picture of you standing muscularly and awkwardly on the shirt. Make sure you change though, because no one will be intimidated by those cargo pants. There is nothing weird about this at all, so let's keep going. Thirdly, make sure you're entirely topless in the picture, so that everyone who comes into contact with your daughter can see how ripped and tattooed and, if you say so, hot you are? Ugh. Also, be sure to use really bad bathroom lighting like you're taking a MySpace picture in 2008. And last, but certainly not least, be sure to include text that confirms that the strapping lad in the picture is, in fact, you, the dad, your daughter's father. So if anyone sees her coming from a mile away and says a sentence like, wow, who's that ripped tattooed guy on that girl's shirt? They can just look at what the shirt says and go, oh, that's her dad.
Cool.
Obviously, the overwhelming majority of straight people are not like this. And trust, gay people are not immune from doing something similarly cringy. I just, with the exception of a few of them, think it's funny. That's really it. I just want to laugh at the things that I find funny, and I hope you found these things as funny as I did. That said, if you did find this video funny, you are a sinner, you're a heretic, you're a pervert, you're a deviant, and above all, a degenerate. And, it's time we owned that about ourselves. Baltazar49 says, amazing how the same people who think they can always tell who is trans also thought Mickey Rooney looked like an Asian man. Sharp1502 says, I remember working in a movie theater and some employees got to watch Fanforstic for free. I went to work the next day and asked how it was. They were like, I saw it for free and still wanted a refund. It's Chesh said, I'm not gonna lie, this is the first time I got triggered by a QCF video. The outfit made me think I was going to have to parry a delayed attack or risk 9,999 damage. Absolutely warmed my heart to see how many people got my cosplay reference. If you didn't, and you were wondering what that big line on my face was, because a lot of you asked, you should play Claire Obscure Expedition 33. And this was a very special one. I Have 3ibs says, that one scene from the Fantastic Four movie is the main reason I'm proud for having my music in the movie. Then again, I've only seen that scene and the part my music is in. It is an honor to meet you, sir and or madam, or neither. You too could be featured in the next video. Leave a comment below and I will pick my favorite ones and give you a shout out next time. But if you'd like to guarantee your name be featured at the end of every video, please consider joining my Patreon. If you join any of the membership tiers that are conveniently named after Fallout protagonists, your name will be featured at the end of every video. You might also get other cool stuff like access to my Discord, behind the scenes content on how I make my wigs, ad-free and uncensored versions of my videos. So if you love my content and my drag, you can support this channel directly by clicking the link to my Patreon in the description box. It is very late. Can you tell how tired I am? If you would like to see me simp for my favorite game characters and get visibly frustrated in real time, please follow me on Twitch. And if you'd like to see even more of my clown mug elsewhere, please consider following me on Instagram or Threads or Bluesky. My handle for all of the above is at QueenCokeFrancis. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't done so already, please make a tasteful announcement to your family and friends that you're about to welcome a new life into the world. But when they see it and demand more graphic details as to how exactly you'll be doing that, just go ahead and unzip your pants and dick slap those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. Thank you again to Aura for sponsoring this video, and thank you to all my patrons and subscribers who keep this channel going. And of course, as always, until next time, howdy ho, from me and my cheeky little hat.